Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something that feels surprisingly important, but also, for many of us, maybe a little, well, intimidating.
Mhm.
We've got some fantastic material here, basically a really practical guide to, mastering small talk.
That's right. And you might hear small talk and think, oh, that's just chatter. It's trivial, not really important. But the guidance we're digging into makes a really compelling case that it's actually, well, fundamental.
Foundational, yeah.
It's how we build those first connections, isn't it? Establish that initial rapport, whether you're, say, at a work function, a party, or just bumping into someone new.
Exactly. And if you've ever been in a room, maybe full of strangers, and felt that familiar knot of anxiety because you just don't know how to start talking or what to even say, you're definitely not alone.
Oh, definitely not.
The material we've got really acknowledges that feeling head on.
Yeah.
And it offers some very concrete ways to move past it.
Yeah, it frames small talk not as like the end goal, but as the essential first step, the gateway sort of to potentially deeper, more meaningful conversations down the line.
Right. It's about making that initial contact feel comfortable and open for both people.
Precisely.
So our mission in this deep dive is to really unpack the key strategies laid out in these materials. Think of it like getting a practical toolkit.
A shortcut.
It's a shortcut. A shortcut to feeling more at ease, more confident when you're striking up those everyday conversations. We're going to look at specific ways to initiate a chat.
How to actually start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what kind of topics work best? What really fuels the conversation?
And crucially, the ones to maybe steer clear of, at least initially.
Definitely those two. And also how to project confidence and friendliness while you're doing it. It's not just what you say, is it?
Not at all. The how is huge. And the strength of this guidance, I think, is how practical it is. It gives specific examples, actual phrases you could use, and really clear reasoning behind why these techniques work.
Okay, so let's dig in. Ready to maybe turn those potentially awkward silences into more comfortable, maybe even enjoyable interactions.
Let's do it.
All right, let's unpack this. First things first. Getting the conversation started. The material calls this the launch pad.
Catchy name. And it acknowledges that, yeah, that initial moment of walking up to someone, it can bring on a lot of nervousness.
Totally.
But the core message here is really encouraging. It basically says starting a conversation is often much, much simpler than we build it up to be in our heads.
Okay, that is definitely good news. So what's the secret? The fundamental principle suggested is using openers that are simple, friendly, and this seems key, really easy for the other person to respond to.
Exactly. You want to make it effortless for them. No complex questions, nothing requiring deep thought right off the bat.
You're just trying to create an inviting entry point, not like conduct an interview.
Precisely. Just opening the door. And the guidance gives specific examples, which is super helpful because context really matters, doesn't it? What works at a party might not work waiting for a bus.
Good point. Okay, let's paint a picture. Imagine you're at a networking event, maybe a conference, a work mixer. You see someone standing alone, or maybe in a small group that looks open. What does the guidance suggest?
Well, one really simple approach is just a direct introduction with a basic pleasantry. Something like, hey, nice to meet you, I'm your name. And then follow up with a simple, open question. How's your day going?
Okay, I see. How's your day going?
It's so low pressure, isn't it?
Extremely.
They can just say, good, thanks, you. Or maybe add a little something like, pretty busy, but good. And boom, the conversation has started. The ball's gently rolling.
Right. It doesn't demand much. Another opener suggested for that networking context, it kind of leverages the shared reason for being there. You could say, hi, I'm your name, so what brings you to this event?
Oh, I like that one because it immediately gives them a clear, relevant topic why they're actually at this specific place.
It shows you're interested in them in the context of the event, not just making random noise. Yeah, it provides immediate common ground. They might talk about their company, their interest in the speaker, the industry, lots of potential directions from there.
Exactly. And one more for that professional or semi-professional setting. If you suspect you might know someone in common or you see them talking to someone you know.
Ah, the mutual connection.
Yes. The material suggests something like, hey, you know a mutual person's name too. How do you guys know each other?
That's brilliant. Finding a mutual acquaintance is like you said, finding a shared island. It instantly creates a bit of warmth, a bit of trust.
And asking how they know the person is a natural follow-up. It often leads to a quick story. Oh, we worked together at X, or we went to college together. It forges a connection through that shared third party. Feels much more familiar right away.
Creates that little, oh, we're connected through Sarah feeling instantly. Nice. Okay, scene change. Let's move to somewhere more relaxed. Say, a party at a friend's house. The vibe's different. What works here?
You can still use the environment. The guidance suggests commenting on the place itself. This place is great. Have you been here before?
Right, using the shared reality again. Everyone's at this party in this house or venue. Commenting on it is relatable. And asking, have you been here before? It's simple. Yes, no, potentially, but it opens doors, doesn't it?
It really does. If they say no, the natural follow-up is, oh, really? How do you know host's name? If they say yes, you could ask, oh, cool. What do you like about it? Or maybe something about the host's previous parties. If they've been before, it branches out.
Which leads smoothly into another classic party opener suggested. So how do you know host's name?
The go-to, and for good reason. The host is the common thread connecting almost everyone there.
Unless it's a +1 situation, maybe?
True, but even then, they know the person who knows the host. People usually have a simple, positive answer: family, work, college friend, neighbor. It's safe, it's relevant, everyone gets it in that setting.
Okay, and then there's one you mentioned earlier that the guidance highlights for parties too. The compliment.
Yes, I really like this one. The example given is, I love your jacket. Where did you get it? But it could be anything, right? A scarf, a cool pin, their shoes.
The power of a genuine compliment. Why is this highlighted as such a good opener?
Well, think about it. Complimenting something specific, like an item they chose to wear, feels warm and personal, but it's not too personal. It's not intrusive.
Right, you're not commenting on their appearance in a general way, but on a specific choice they made.
Exactly. And asking where they got it is such a practical, easy-to-answer question. It lets them share a little positive detail, maybe where they bought it, maybe it was a gift, maybe there's a tiny story attached, but it's light.
It feels good to get a compliment, and it's easy to talk about where you got something. Starts the chat on a really positive, low-stakes vibe.
Definitely. Sets a nice tone.
All right, let's go even more casual. What about just, out in the wild, public places, waiting in line for coffee, maybe sitting on a park bench near someone?
The same principles apply. Use the immediate situation or surroundings. For that coffee shop line, the guidance suggests something like, wow, this place is always busy. Do you come here often?
Okay, again, shared experience. Everyone in that line is experiencing the busyness. It's relatable. And do you come here often is a gentle probe about their routine related to this specific place. Easy to answer.
And if they say yes, maybe you can ask what they recommend. If no, maybe you commiserate about the wait. It leads somewhere.
Or another coffee shop example focuses on something pleasant. That coffee smells amazing. What did you order?
I love this one too. It's sensory, it's positive. It focuses on a shared potential pleasure, the smell of good coffee.
Yeah. And the question, what did you order?
Yeah.
It's so simple, so direct. They can just name the drink or maybe add a quick comment like, oh, it's their seasonal special. It's really good. Very light, very focused on something tangible and nice.
Doesn't require any personal disclosure, just sharing a simple choice.
And bringing back the compliment idea again, even in a super casual setting.
Absolutely. The guidance gives an example like, I love your backpack. It looks really cool. Where did you get it?
See how versatile that is. Works at a party, works in a coffee shop, works at the bus stop if you see cool shoes. If you genuinely notice something you like about what someone's wearing or carrying.
It's a warm, non-threatening way in. You're appreciating something about them, their choice, without needing to know anything personal about them yet. It's respectful, but friendly.
So looking across all these examples, networking, party, public space, what's the big takeaway? What's the underlying philosophy?
It seems to be. Keep it simple, keep it friendly, keep it relevant to the situation if possible, and make it incredibly easy for the other person to respond. These openers are designed to be natural, easy to understand, and require almost no effort or vulnerability from the person you're approaching.
Right. They lower the barrier to entry for the other person. Makes it less daunting for both of you, really.
Exactly. It's not about having some killer pickup line or being hilarious instantly. It's just about extending a simple, friendly hand, metaphorically speaking, an invitation to connect using the context you're already sharing.
It shows you're open to talking. And gives the other person a really obvious, comfortable way to step into that conversation with you.
Takes the pressure off.
Okay, so phase 1 complete. You've used one of these brilliant, simple openers. You've launched the conversation. Now, what do you actually talk about?
Phase 2, fueling the chat. The materials have some really helpful guidance here too, outlining the best small talk topics.
Because starting is one thing, but keeping it going for even a few minutes requires some content.
Right. And the reasoning behind the suggested topics is pretty straightforward and practical. Good small talk topics are generally light, easy for almost anyone to chime in on, and relatively universal.
Meaning they don't require specialized knowledge.
Exactly. Or revealing deep, dark secrets right away. That comes later, maybe.
Okay, so what are these magical, safe, universal topics? The guidance lists several key areas. The first one is perhaps the most famous, maybe infamous, the weather.
Yes, the old standby. But don't knock it till you try it, right? The examples provided are simple. It's such a nice day today. Or maybe something slightly more engaging like, wow, it's really cold today. Do you like winter?
Okay, so the first one is just a statement of fact, basically. Agreeable. The second one, though, do you like winter? That actually opens it up a bit more.
Precisely. It might seem mundane, but everyone experiences the weather. It's the ultimate common ground. And as that second example shows, a simple observation, it's cold, can naturally lead to a slightly more personal question, do you like winter? That question opens the door just a crack, invites a personal preference or maybe a brief anecdote about skiing or hating the cold.
It's a gentle pivot, isn't it? From just observing the shared external world to asking something very mildly personal about their reaction to it. Very low risk.
Extremely low risk, and it serves as a non-threatening starting point or transition. Next up, the guidance suggests hobbies and interests.
Okay, this feels a bit more personal than weather, but still generally safe territory, I imagine.
Generally, yes. Examples given are straightforward questions like, what do you like to do for fun? Or maybe slightly more specific. Have you been into any new hobbies lately?
Asking about fun or hobbies. People usually enjoy talking about things they choose to do in their free time, right? Especially if they're passionate.
Absolutely. And asking about new hobbies, like the second example, is quite clever. It taps into something they might be currently excited about, learning, exploring. Maybe they just started pottery or learning guitar or got into bird watching.
Ah, so it could uncover some current enthusiasm.
Exactly. This topic area opens the door to sharing passions, maybe funny learning experiences, interesting activities, without needing to get into, say, their childhood or deep personal history. It allows for connection through shared enthusiasm or just mutual curiosity. Oh, you're learning ukulele. How's that going?
Nice. Okay, next category. This one seems very relevant today. Current events, but, and this is a big but with the qualifier, non-political.
Yes, that distinction is absolutely crucial. The examples provided lean heavily into widely accessible pop culture or maybe major public interest news that isn't divisive. Things like, did you hear about the new Marvel movie? It's getting amazing reviews.
Okay, safe ground for many. Or another example, I saw that Taylor Swift just announced a new tour. Are you a fan?
See the pattern. It's focused on things many people are likely aware of, big movie releases, huge music stars, maybe major sporting events or results, a popular new TV show everyone's talking about, perhaps a local festival happening.
These are like cultural touchstones, aren't they? Things a lot of people have some awareness of, even if they aren't huge fans.
Exactly. They allow for shared excitement. I can't wait to see it. Mild opinions. Yeah, I heard it was good, but maybe a bit long. Or just casual commentary. Oh, well, another tour already. Crucially, they avoid wading into those potentially thorny political or deeply sensitive social issues that can shut down a conversation fast.
Right. You can chat about a superhero movie without needing to debate, I don't know, foreign policy. Keeps it light.
Provides that common cultural currency for conversation, as you said.
Good way to put it. Okay, travel is another area the guidance highlights as generally great for small talk.
Yes, people often love talking about travel. The example questions are quite inviting. Have you been on any trips recently? Or looking forward? If you could visit anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Travel often connects to positive experiences, doesn't it? Or at least interesting ones. Or exciting dreams and aspirations.
People usually have stories about places they've been, even if it was just a weekend trip somewhere nearby. Or they have dreams about that big trip they want to take someday. It's a topic that encourages sharing positive memories or future plans.
And it's generally seen as pleasant, maybe even inspiring. It allows for a bit of storytelling, too. Oh, you went there. What was it like?
Right. And it can reveal interesting things about a person's interests or background in a very natural way. Are they adventurous? Do they prefer cities or nature, beach or mountains? It can uncover connections.
It's an easy way to share something positive and engaging, or learn something similar about the other person. I like that one.
Me too. Finally, the guidance points to something truly universal: food and drinks.
Can't go wrong there, surely. everyone eats and drinks.
Pretty much. The examples are very relatable, very everyday. Do you know any good restaurants around here? Or simply, what's your favorite type of food?
Okay, asking for local restaurant recommendations, that's practical. Especially if you're new to an area or just looking for ideas, it can lead to useful tips and discussion about different cuisines or dining experiences nearby.
Definitely. And asking about favorite food types, Italian, Mexican, Thai, whatever, it's such a simple preference question. It allows for easy sharing. Oh, I love Thai food. And maybe discovering shared tastes. Me too. Have you tried that place on Main Street?
Very grounded in daily life. These topics, food, travel, hobbies, safe current events, whether they provide comfortable, familiar territory for almost any casual chat, don't they?
They really do. They're the building blocks.
And the material gives that little example conversation, which I thought showed really well how these can link together naturally. Can you remind us of that?
Sure. It went something like this. Person A, hey, nice weather today, right? Person B.
Right.
Yeah, finally. I love sunny days. Do you like summer? Person B. Yeah, but I also love winter sports. Have you ever tried skiing?
Okay, let's quickly trace that path again. It starts dead simple. Weather. Nice weather.
Universal observation. Person B agrees, adds a personal preference, loves sunny days, and turns it into a related question. Do you like summer? Still very safe.
Right. Person A answers the summer question, but then, and this is the key move, pivots slightly by mentioning a contrasting preference linked to an activity. Yeah, but I also love winter sports.
That opens a whole new door.
And that activity, winter sports, immediately becomes the anchor for the next, more specific question. Have you ever tried skiing?
See how it flowed? From general weather to seasonal preference to a related interest, winter sports, to a specific activity within that interest, skiing.
It's brilliant. The Wes comment wasn't really about the weather. It was the starting block, the easy entry point that allowed them to gently probe for common ground until they landed on something more specific, skiing, that could fuel a more detailed and engaging chat.
Exactly. It shows that small talk isn't just hopping randomly between these safe topics. It's often a low-stakes exploration using these topics as bridges to find a shared interest or experience you can actually talk about more meaningfully.
Finding that comfortable path toward a more specific discussion. I like that.
The universal topics are the pathways, not necessarily the destination.
Okay, so we know how to start. We have a good list of safe, productive topics. But just as vital is knowing what not to bring up, especially early on. The materials are quite clear about navigating this potential minefield.
Yes, this is super important for keeping things comfortable and positive. You don't want to inadvertently step on a conversational landmine. The core principle is pretty simple. Avoid topics that are too personal, too sensitive, or likely to be controversial in an initial casual chat.
Makes sense. You're trying to build rapport, not start a debate or an interrogation. So, what are the specific no-go zones according to the guidance? It lists a few explicitly, often with example questions that illustrate the boundary. First one, politics. The example question is, who did you vote for?
Oof, yeah. Politics often involves deeply held beliefs, strong emotions, and potential for significant disagreement. Bringing it up with someone you just met whose views you don't know, it's highly likely to create discomfort, tension, maybe even an argument.
Or just awkward silence if they really don't want to go there.
Exactly. It requires a level of trust and understanding that just isn't there in the first 5 minutes of conversation. Small talk is about building comfort, not immediately testing someone's political alignment. Save that for much later, if ever.
Good advice. Next on the avoid list, money. The example given is pretty blunt. How much do you make?
Yeah, that's rarely appropriate. Discussions about personal income, wealth, debt, financial struggles, these are considered highly private in many cultures, certainly in most Western contexts, for casual chat.
Asking directly about salary or finances is generally seen as intrusive, right? Maybe even rude.
Definitely intrusive. It can make people feel judged. Are they comparing? Or envious, or just uncomfortably exposed? It's way too personal for getting to know you chat. Stick to those lighter topics we discussed.
Okay, number 3 on the naughty list, religion. Example question, what's your religious beliefs?
Similar to politics, religious or spiritual beliefs are often deeply personal, core to someone's identity and can vary immensely. Unless you're in a specific context where religion is the expected topic, like maybe an interfaith dialogue event or something, bringing it up casually is risky.
Why risky?
Well, it can easily lead to discomfort if the person isn't religious or if they practice differently from you. It might feel like proselytizing or lead to misunderstandings or just feel too intimate for an initial conversation. It requires a sensitivity and shared context that usually isn't present when you first meet someone.
Better to let them bring it up. If it's important to them and feels relevant, maybe.
Probably safer, yes. Or wait until you know them much better.
Okay. And the final category the guidance warns against is bringing up overly personal problems. The example question given is something like, "You look tired. Are you okay?"
Now, the intention behind asking, "Are you okay?" might be genuinely kind. You might be concerned.
Right, it seems caring on the surface.
But phrasing it based on their appearance, "You look tired, you seem stressed," in a casual small talk setting puts them right on the spot. Maybe they are tired because they have a sick child at home, or they're stressed about work, but do they want to unload that onto someone they just met in the coffee line?
Probably not. It forces them to either share something vulnerable they weren't planning to or give a vague, possibly awkward brush off. "Oh, I'm fine, just busy."
Exactly. Small talk is generally meant to be light, positive, and build connection. Venting about serious personal struggles or probing into someone else's difficulties really belongs in established relationships where there's trust and mutual support, not in the first few minutes of meeting someone.
So the clear message across all these avoid topics, politics, money, religion, deep personal problems, is keep it light, keep it positive, keep it non-confrontational, especially at the start.
These topics are flagged because they demand too much vulnerability or risk disagreement or discomfort too early. They can essentially kill that comfortable, exploratory vibe you're trying to build with small talk.
It's like trying to run before you can walk, conversationally speaking.
That's a good way to put it. Think of small talk as creating a friendly, safe little bubble for that initial connection. These heavy topics are like trying to introduce complicated, potentially sharp objects into that bubble right away. It bursts the comfort. It's about respecting boundaries in those early interactions.
Okay, really clear distinction between the good fuel and the potential minefield topics. So we've covered starting, the right topics, the wrong topics.
Yeah.
But the guidance doesn't stop there, does it? It places a lot of emphasis on how you actually deliver all this, the delivery aspect.
Yes, absolutely. This brings us to this section on projecting confidence and friendliness. Because let's face it, even if you have the perfect words, the perfect opener, the perfect topic, how you say it, how you present yourself makes a huge difference.
It really does. Your nonverbal cues speak volumes. So what practical, actionable tips does the material offer here?
Well, the first one is incredibly simple, but so powerful. Smile when you speak.
Smile. Okay. Why is that so important? Just to look friendly.
That's part of it, definitely. A smile is universally seen as welcoming, but the guidance points out something fascinating. It actually changes your tone of voice.
Really? How?
When you smile, even slightly, it tends to make your voice sound warmer, more pleasant, more approachable, more positive. You can often literally hear a smile in someone's voice, right? Like call center agents are often told to smile.
That's true. You can often hear the lack of a smile, too. Someone sounds flat or bored.
Exactly. So that physical act of smiling actually influences the sound you produce, making you sound more inviting and disarming the other person slightly. It encourages a positive response.
Okay, simple but effective. Tip number 2, use open body language. The guidance specifically mentions things like relaxed shoulders and good posture.
Yeah, your physical stance sends strong signals. If you're kind of hunched over, arms crossed tightly, fidgeting nervously, what does that project?
Closed off, anxious, maybe defensive or uncomfortable.
Right. Whereas if your shoulders are relaxed, you're standing or sitting reasonably upright, but not rigidly. Maybe your arms are loosely at your sides or one hand in a pocket. That signals you're more comfortable, more confident, more open and receptive to interaction. It makes you look and probably feel more approachable.
So uncross those arms, try to relax the shoulders.
Mhm.
Got it. Next crucial element, maintain eye contact.
This is fundamental for connection, isn't it? Looking someone in the eye, not staring intensely, but meeting their gaze comfortably while you're talking and listening. It shows you're engaged.
Shows you're actually paying attention to them.
Yes. And that you're comfortable interacting with them. Avoiding eye contact, always looking down or away, can make you seem untrustworthy or overly nervous or simply disinterested, like you're looking for someone else to talk to. Good eye contact builds that essential person-to-person link needed for rapport.
Okay, so smile, open posture, good eye contact. And the final piece of the delivery puzzle,
Use a friendly tone of voice.
which you mentioned is helped by smiling, but it's more than that.
It is. It's about avoiding sounding monotone or flat, or maybe overly serious and formal, or too loud or too quiet. Your tone carries a lot of emotional information.
So aiming for warmth, modulated.
Exactly. A friendly tone is generally warm, has some natural variation in pitch, maybe tries to match the energy level of the other person appropriately. It just makes the conversation feel more pleasant, more human. It conveys that you're easy to talk to and hopefully enjoying the interaction yourself.
What strikes me about these points, smile, body language, eye contact, tone, is how the guidance presents them as working together, synergistically.
Totally interconnected. Your smile influences your tone. Your posture affects your confidence, which affects your eye contact. They all combine to create that overall impression of approachability, friendliness, and confidence.
And the material stresses practicing these physical and vocal things alongside using the right words, the openers and topics we talked about.
Yes, because, and this is a key point, in the guidance, feeling confident, or at least projecting confidence, makes the whole act of small talk feel more natural and maybe even enjoyable. When you seem open and friendly through your nonverbals, the other person is more likely to respond warmly.
Which then probably boosts your actual confidence, right? Creates a positive feedback loop.
Precisely. Their positive reaction validates your effort, makes you feel like, hey, this is working, and encourages you to continue. It's about aligning your internal intention, I want to be friendly and connect, with your external presentation so the message gets across clearly.
Wow. Okay. We really covered a lot of ground there. Some incredibly practical stuff from this material on mastering small talk.
We really have. We started with the launch pad, right? How to actually get started with those simple, friendly openers, tailoring them for networking, parties, casual spots, focusing on making it super easy for the other person to reply.
Right. Things like, how's your day? Or complimenting something specific like, love that scarf.
Exactly. Then we moved into fueling the chat, the best topics to keep things rolling. Those light, universal subjects. Weather, hobbies, non-political current events, travel, food and drink. And we saw how they act as bridges to potentially more specific interests.
Yeah, not just dead ends. And just as important, we identified the minefield, those topics to definitely avoid in early small talk because they're too personal or controversial.
Politics, money, religion, deep personal problems, keep those off the table initially.
Got it. And finally, we looked at the crucial delivery aspect, projecting confidence. How you say things matters. Remembering to smile, using open body language, making comfortable eye contact, and speaking with a warm, friendly tone.
And the core argument from these materials is really compelling. If you practice these 4 areas together, starting, topics, avoidance, and delivery, those everyday conversations can feel significantly less like a chore, less intimidating.
And maybe more like a natural, comfortable exchange.
That's the goal. If small talk feels awkward for you now, these techniques offer a really concrete roadmap to feeling more at ease, more effective, and maybe even enjoying those brief interactions more.
They give you the tools, but also the why behind them, which I find helpful. Takes away some of the mystery and anxiety.
Definitely demystifies it a bit.
So here's a thought to maybe leave you, our listener, with. A kind of challenge drawn straight from the spirit of this material.
Okay, what is it?
The next time you have an opportunity, maybe later today, tomorrow, just try it. Deliberately use one of the simple openers we talked about. Pick one of the safe, light topics and consciously try to practice one of the confidence tips. Maybe just focus on smiling or making eye contact.
Just one small step.
Exactly. See how it feels. Was starting easier than you expected? Did the conversation flow even for a minute? What did you notice? It's about that small, consistent practice. Baby steps.
Because the material leaves us with a really powerful final idea. We've spent all this time talking about small talk.
Yeah, the small stuff.
But it's presented as just the foundation, the beginning.
And here's where it gets really interesting for me. Small talk isn't the end game at all, is it?
Not according to this perspective.
It's positioned as the key. It's the process, the skill, that builds that initial comfort, that essential rapport, which then unlocks the door to the bigger stuff.
Exactly. It opens the door to being able to express opinions more freely, share more personal thoughts and feelings, have those disagreements constructively, and build those truly significant, deeper connections.
Wow. So you kind of have to master the small to get to the big.
That seems to be the argument. It's the necessary first step. Building that foundation of comfort and trust through skillful small talk is what makes more meaningful conversations possible later on. Mastering this basic level is the groundwork for a richer, more connected conversational life.
Small talk. The essential, maybe underrated, key to unlocking deeper human connection. Definitely gives you something to think about and maybe something worth practicing.
Keep practicing, keep connecting, it gets easier.